everyone. Today we will be talking about polynomial. So we have here the definition of a polynomial. On the side right here is an example of a polynomial. So parts of the polynomial, first it has to have an exponent. So there's an exponent right there. And please remember that an exponent determines or it tells the degree of the polynomial. There is also a variable. A variable is a letter. It doesn't have to be X. It can be any letter in the alphabet. And we also have a coefficient is a number in front of the variable. So this coefficient can be in whole number. It can be positive. It can be negative. It can be a fraction. Now, there's like a bunch of expressions, mathematical expressions out there. Now, how do we sort them out as either polynomial or not a polynomial expression? So these are the rules. First, it contains variable with radical. So if the x has a radical, if it's radical on it, it is not a polynomial. Second, if it has a fractional or negative exponent. So this exponent, this rule is telling us that the exponent should only be a positive whole number. So it cannot be a negative. It cannot be a fraction. It cannot be a decimal too. So it has to be a positive whole number only. The third rule right here is it is not a polynomial expression if it has a variable in the denominator. So that the variable is in the denominator, then it is not a polynomial. So let's have some examples here to see in order for us to determine if it's a polynomial or not a polynomial. So let's take this first example right here. Okay, so is this a polynomial or not a polynomial? So first stop, we have the three rules that we mentioned at the beginning. This others are going to think that, oh, the 3 is in the denominator, so that means it messed it up. It's not a polynomial. Remember, it should only be a variable, but 3 is not a variable, so this is a polynomial. Now let's look at the number of terms. Number of terms refers to the this part. So this is one term, this is another term, this is another term, and this is another term. So we have 4 terms. Now let's look at the degree. The degree is the highest exponent. So we have an exponent of 3. So the highest exponent is 4. So we go ahead and say 4th degree. Just to remind you that the number of terms and degree doesn't have to be the same. It's just so happened that this example, they're the same. But if this was 7, then this should be 7th degree. But still, it's 4 terms. Let's take the second example here. So we have this. Just by looking at it, I know others have already seen it. This is not a polynomial. The reason for that is this messed it up. Square root of x. There should be no radical in the variable. So we can just leave this blank. Third example. I know others have seen it already. This messed it up. Variable in the in the denominator. So this is not a polynomial. So we don't have to do that. And then the fourth one here, 7x. So others are gonna think like, oh, this is not a polynomial because like it's missing an exponent. So just a reminder, if there is no exponent, there is an invisible one exponent right there. So I put it in a broken line to tell us that it was actually invisible. So this is a polynomial. And then the number of terms here is just 1. And then the degree here is 1st degree. Again, the degree and the number of terms don't have to be a match. It's just so happened that in those examples, they're a match. Let's take the 5th example here. Okay, so is this a polynomial or not a polynomial? So again, just by looking at it, this fractional exponent messed it up. So this is not a polynomial, and we leave this blank. And let's take the sixth one here. This is, others are going to think like, oh, that is not a polynomial. Okay, please remember that this is actually a polynomial. So let's explain how is it a polynomial? There's no variable, there's no exponent. This actually is equal to 7 and then x to the 0. And remember, anything that is raised to the power 0 is 1. So let's say if you have 5 to the 0 is equal to 1. Let's say 100 to the 0 is, 5 to the 0 is equal to 1, correct? So this is also 1. So x to the 0 is actually 1. So there is an invisible x to the 0 here, but x to the 0 is 1, so 7 times 1 is a 7. So this is a polynomial. And the number of terms here is 1, and then the degree is 0th degree. Next, number 7. So just by looking at it, we can conclude that this is not a polynomial. The negative 1 messed it up. Remember, the exponent has to be a positive whole number only. So this is not a polynomial. And let's have here the next one. So others are going to think like, oh, that messed it up because we have a 4 over 2 as an exponent. So there should be no fractional exponent. But remember, 4 over 2 is actually 2. So then others are going to think that, oh, there's a 4 in the denominator. So that is not a polynomial. 4 is not a variable. So this one right here is a polynomial. And the number of terms here will be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and then this is the 7th degree. That's it. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!